Hello, spiritual Christians. I thought I'd read a bit more from the book of The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ that I started my last little video made. So let's see what happens next. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Right, let's see now. I was struck by the recital of the Lama. The Prophet Isa has his tortured and death. Our Christian Dalai Lama, the Buddhist, recognizing Christianity, all these made me think more and more of Jesus Christ. I asked my interpreter not to lose a single word of what the Lama told me. Where can these writings be found, and who occupies them? I asked the monk. The principal scrolls, which were written in India and Nepal at different epochs as the events happened, are in Lhasa, several thousand in number. Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? Great convents are to be found, copies which the Lamas during their sojourn in Lhasa have made at various times, and have then given to their cloisters as souvenirs of the period they spent with the Dalai Lama. But you yourselves do not possess copies of the scrolls. Here in upon the Prophet Isa. We have not. Our convent is insignificant, and since its foundation, our successive lamas have had only a few hundred manuscripts to their library. The great cloisters have several thousand of them, but they are sacred things which will not anywhere be shown to you. We spoke together a few minutes longer, after which I went home, all the while thinking of the Lama's statements. Isa, a prophet of the Buddhist, but how could this be? Of Jewish origin, he lived in Palestine and in Egypt, and the Gospel do not contain one word, even the least allusion to the past, which Buddhism should have played in the education of Jesus. I made up my mind to visit all the convents of Tibet in the hope of gathering fuller information upon the Prophet Isa, and perhaps copies of the chronicles bearing upon this subject. We travelled the Namaka Pass at 30,000 feet of altitude, whence we descended into the valley of the river Sal-in Ulmuth. Turning southward, we gained Ka Pora, leaving behind us on the opposite bank numerous villages, among others Kadum, which is at the top of a rock, an extremely imposing sight. Its houses are white and have a sort of festive look, with their 2 and 3 stories. This, by the way, is a common peculiarity of the village of Ladakh. The eye of the European travelling in Kashmir would soon lose sight of all architecture to which he had been accustomed. In Ladakh, on the contrary, he would be agreeably surprised at seeing the little 2 and 3 story houses reminders to him of those in Europe province, near the city of Kabul, upon 2 perpendicular rocks. One sees the ruins of a little town or village. A tempest and an earthquake are said to have shaken down its walls, the solidity of which seems to have been exceptional. The next day I travelled to Fola Pass at an altitude of 13,500 feet. At this summit stands a little Tohondren chapel. Thence, following the dry bed of a stream, I descended into the hamlet of La Hamanure, the sudden appearance of which is a surprise to the traveller, a convent which seems grafted on the side of a rock, or held there in some miraculous way, dominates the village. Stairs are unknown in this cloister. In order to pass from one story of it to another, ropes are used. Communication with the world outside is through labyrinth of passages in the rock under the windows of the convent, which make one think of birds' nests on the face of a cliff, is a little inn, the rooms of which are little inviting. Hardly had I stretched myself on the carpet in one of them, when the monks, dressed in their yellow robes, filled the apartment, bothered me with questions as to whence I came, the purpose of my coming, where I was going, and so on, finally inviting me to come and see them. In spite of my fatigue, I accepted their invitation and set out with them to climb up the excavated passages in the rock, which were embedded with an infinity of prayer cylinders and wheels which I could not but touch and set turning as I brushed past them. They are placed there that they may be turned, serving to the passers-by the time they might otherwise lose in saying their prayers, as if their affairs were so absorbing and their time so precious that they could not find leisure to pray. Many pious Buddhists use for their purpose an apparatus arranged to be turned by the current of a stream, I have seen a long row of cylinders provided with their prayer formulas placed among a riverbed in such a way that the water kept them constantly in motion. This ingenious device freeing the proprietors from any further obligation to say prayers themselves. Well, I'll leave it there. It seems there's no mention of Isa in this reading I've just done, but travelling to different places and trying to find copies of old manuscripts, and yes, so we'll leave it there until next time. See this pencil? I found this pencil when I left home this morning. This pencil was in a sort of on a little shortcut to the tube station, and it was all wet and that, and I thought, oh, it's a shame, isn't it? And it was still there when I got home, so I thought I'll rescue it. And yeah, because I quite like nice pencils, and this one I might do some drawing with, and this is going to be called my lucky pencil. Yeah, it's got a rubber on it. Anyway, I'll say goodbye, and I'm sorry if that seems a bit obscure when I was, and my reading all these different words wasn't too brilliant, I suppose, but see what you think, and I think I'll read a bit before I do another little video to make sure it's more interesting for you, the listener. Anyway, take care, be good to whoever you meet, and if you can give someone a hand or a coin or two, the Heavenly Father will look at you with grace. So, blessed be you and all your family until we meet again, I suppose, yeah. In the great world of technology now, yes. Instead of all these scrolls and scriptures. Anyway, bye-bye for now. Peace be with you.